Mike Vrabel, Elliott Wolf, and Robert Kraft continue to make moves. They hired Josh McDaniels yesterday as the new offensive coordinator for the Patriots, but now they're actually bringing in somebody new to the Patriots franchise. They have hired defensive coordinator Terrell Williams. He was previously a defensive line coach for the Detroit Lions, but before that, he worked 6 seasons under Mike Vrabel as his defensive line coach for the Tennessee Titans. This move does not come as a surprise to me at all. A few days ago, I put out a video to let you guys know that Terrell Williams was the Patriots' favorite to be the next defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. So I do assume that DeMarcus Covington is no longer with the franchise. But I will keep in mind here that he is a first-time DC. He has worked a plethora of coaching jobs in the NFL and in college, but mainly as a defensive line coach. This will be his first time taking over the reins as a DC, but from what Mike Vrabel says, it should be a very good hire, and we should know that he has worked with Vrabel before, so he should understand what that head coach is looking for in terms of his defensive unit. So before I hop into more details about the recent hiring, go on ahead and give me your one-word reaction in the comment section down below. What is your one-word reaction to Williams being the new DC? Mine is probably going to be hopeful. I'm very hopeful that he is going to be a successful first-year DC, and while DeMarcus Covington didn't have the best NFL stats to produce for this defensive unit, I do think that a guy like Terrell Williams, who knows Mike Vrabel, and he understands that they want to bring in violent players. They want to have violent guys playing for the Patriots defense. I do think there is a little bit of hope inside me that he can take this unit back to a top 10, which we have grown to know and love over the last couple of seasons. But just to dive a little bit more here into who Terrell Williams actually is, I do think that bringing in a guy that has worked with Vrabel and has worked with the defensive Lions, who had a very good Detroit Lions, who had a very good defensive unit this past year, in his first season with the Tennessee Titans back in 2018, what he was able to do with this defense, he did allow them to rank 8th in yards per game allowed, 3rd in points allowed, and 2nd in red zone defense. Those are all areas the Patriots absolutely struggled at, among many other, this last year. Because you have to look, the linebackers were just not producing game in, game out. The defensive 3-4 front really wasn't giving us anything either. Keion White was supposed to have a breakout year, and Keion White tied for Dietrich Wise Jr. to have the most sacks, which was 5. I just don't think a good defensive unit has a team-high 5 sacks. I think that you need to be able to produce more. There was very little quarterback pressure every single game. I think the last 3 games of the season, before the Buffalo Bills game, because that was just pretty much a practice game, was these quarterbacks went untouched. You have to continuously disrupt their offensive production, and that's not what the defense did. Not to mention, they always allowed over 20 points, 30 points scored on them every single game. The only bright spot the Patriots had on their defenses last year was Christian Gonzalez, and I think that was pure God-given talent that he didn't get to showcase in his first year because he was injured. And I understand we had a lot of injuries this last year for the Patriots, and obviously you can only do so much with that, but look, a lot of teams have injuries. And so now that we have Mike Vrabel, who is an established head coach in the NFL, bringing in a guy like Terrell Williams, who is a first-year DC, but has proven to be a very successful defensive line coach over his course of the NFL. What Mike Vrabel had to say about him is that he has respect for him. The way that he goes about his business, the way that he treats people, the way that he treats coaches and players. He has a great grasp of it. He got along and had relationships with offensive coaches, special team coaches, defensive coaches. He knows what he believes. He's a good football coach, a great husband, and a great father. So while we are getting a leader of men in Mike Vrabel as our head coach, now just knowing that your defensive coordinator is going to have a good relationship with the people around him, which was one of the 3 keys that Vrabel was looking for in an OC and a DC, which was teach, develop, and inspire by making connections. Everything Vrabel has said about Terrell Williams sounds like he's going to do that. And then he really harped on his time in Tennessee with Williams, saying, I relied on Big T, which I'm going to love that nickname moving forward, a lot to help me on guys that I couldn't reach out to or was having trouble with. He had a better relationship with them than I did. He cared about the team. He wasn't just like he cared about the D line. So I think as a coordinator, he's now going to have reins over that entire unit, and he's going to make connections moving forward. And what we did see a little bit with DeMarcus Covington was that he was on the defensive guys' side. But for the offense, I really never heard that DeMarcus Covington talked to the offense, which was a unit that was extremely struggling, but they all really did like AVP. So it strictly was a defensive and offensive side of the football, not just the Patriots. And I do think Terrell Williams is going to be able to bring that back just based on what Mike Vrabel has said about him in the past. But then he really harped on here, I don't know any other way to explain it other than we're looking for violent players. That's just how it has to be. And I know that a lot of rules have changed in the NFL in the last couple of years, but you do have to realize this is a contact sport. It's a physical sport. And that was something I didn't see. I didn't see violence. I didn't see grit. I didn't see determination from this defense, or from the defensive line to the safeties. I didn't see any of that for especially the last 5 games of the season. So I'm very excited for what Big T is going to be able to bring here for the Patriots, not just on the defensive side of the football, but it sounds like he really likes working with the entire team as a whole. And I'm going to break that down here more in just a few moments, but I do want to tell you guys that our sponsor here today is Game Time, the #1 way to get tickets to any sporting event, any concert, comedy show. Game Time is an app on your phone that is super easy to use, and with a new feature, Game Time Picks, it does make it a lot easier to filter out through the fluff. That way you guys can find the best deals on the best seats without having to search through thousands and thousands of tickets. You know you're going to get the lowest price guaranteed. You know that you're going to be able to have all-in pricing up front. That way you guys aren't paying any extra fees at checkout, because there's nothing I hate more than knowing what I'm going to pay. Checkout comes around and I'm paying $75 to a fee I have never heard of. And the #1 feature that I love with Game Time is the fact that you guys can see the view from your seat in the app before you buy. A nice little 180 panoramic view to make sure you're not sitting in front of a pole or you're not sitting near the men's restroom. Just something that is going to make your viewing experience 10 times better. So if you guys want to go ahead and download Game Time, the link to the app will be in this comment section down below under this video, under the pinned comment, or you guys can just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code CHATSPORTS. That'll get you guys $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Again, download the Game Time app, use promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Download Game Time today, because what time is it? It is game time. And I want to go back to the violent players comment, because right after Terrell Williams was hired as a defensive coordinator, a familiar name that I brought up about a week ago about players that could follow Vrabel to New England from Tennessee, one of them was Jeffrey Simmons. Simmons, who worked with Big T for the last 6 seasons in Tennessee, he also tweeted out, "Wow, so happy for Big T, man. You deserve it, coach. Congrats to you and your family." This came after Simmons liked a tweet on X that said the first move that Mike Vrabel should do in the Vrabel era is trade for Jeffrey Simmons. And he liked that tweet. Now he's over here quoting and commenting, talking about how he loves this hire for the Patriots and Terrell Williams. I'm not saying he's a New England Patriot, but I'm not saying that. I think that he is a player that could come to New England because of the connections that Vrabel and Terrell Williams have. And then you got to look at Josh McDaniels, who coached for the offensive coordinator. He coached as the offensive coordinator for the Patriots for years. Then he went and had some unsuccessful time in Las Vegas. But these are coaches that know people, know players. Nobody knew Alex Van Pelt. Nobody knew DeMarcus Covington. Nobody knew Jerod Mayo. So I think that this new structure of personnel in New England is going to be the right move moving forward. And as always, we go live and we go breaking news here, even if that means from home. Sorry for no Beans appearance from my cat this video, but if you guys want to go on ahead, hit that sub button for me on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I promise you guys will not regret it.